Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit, about a concept that I mentioned many years ago. I called it living at 90%. But I think even a better way to put that would be putting in 90% effort with 100% consistency. Because one of the things that we see a lot, and one of the problems we have, people always have this idea, especially the younger guys in the iron game, that if they just work harder and harder and harder, they put in 100% effort, or stupidest of 110% effort, which you can't do. Right? That they will just make the best gains possible because everyone acts like this is all about hard work. And what I'm telling people is that if you're going to play the long game here, it really isn't. Number one. Number two, 100% effort may not produce any more results. And I think that we could listen to a lot of the best coaches out there and stuff that they've done over the years and realize that that's the case. All the research shows that going really above about 90 to 92% one rep max doesn't produce a larger training response. Okay? Stopping 2 reps short of failure doesn't cause less hypertrophy than going to failure. You see where we're going with all of this? Doesn't cause less results. You'll hear the concepts such as minimum effective volume versus maximum recoverable volume. And some of the experts who discuss that will try to make you believe that your minimum effective volume is really high, but it's not, is it? It's not. I mean, how many studies do we have out there showing, even in advanced lifters, 5 or 6 sets causing significant muscle growth? You guys remember the women's study on squats versus hip thrusts? Keeping in mind these women had an average back squat of about 90 kilos, just around 2 plates per side. Hey, that was their average max squat below parallel. For women, that's not a novice lifter. We're up into the advanced territory. Yet in that study, all those women did 6 sets of squats once a week or 6 sets of hip thrusts once a week. Every one of them gained muscle in their lower body, got stronger on their maxes. And in other words, on 6 sets doing periodized programming, 6 sets, those women got stronger on their squats. In like 8 or 10 weeks, their quads and glutes all got bigger, measurable with MRIs, like it was actual measurable amounts of hypertrophy. When you talk about the really low volume, most of the studies that are looking at any muscle growth comparison of like 1, 3, or 5 sets. And almost exclusively, 3 sets produces more muscle growth than 1, 5 sets produces more muscle growth than 3. But what we don't always see is significant differences, even beyond that. It can be small differences. Past 10, we very rarely see studies that show real significant muscle growth. If we do, it's very small. Now, there have been cases where it's reduced, or it's even less. So kind of the point there is that this whole maximum recoverable volume doesn't mean that you're going to grow more there. You could go minimum effective volume, and it's probably lower than you think, and make continual progress. And how many guys out there are like, well, I'm not making any progress. They're like, I'm training, I'm not getting any bigger or stronger right now. What's wrong? And I'm doing all this work. And it's like, but you have studies showing 5 and 6 sets, fairly hard sets, even only once a week, produces robust muscle growth. You have studies where suboptimal volumes Our exercises produce significant muscle growth. Remember when the dumbbell rows was compared to curls in Schoenfeld's study? They found that the curls produce more bicep growth than dumbbell rows, which we would expect, given the supine position, the rowing angle, because again, horizontal versus vertical pulls usually produce a less robust response in biceps. Obviously more in the lats and things and rear delts. But even on moderate volume dumbbell rows, the biceps still grew. They just didn't grow as effectively, but they grew. Doing 6 sets of dumbbell rows twice a week. The biceps grew. They just grew less than curls, so it means it was suboptimal. But there was still hypertrophy. You guys considered you're doing too much? Especially in light of the fact that most studies show 2 reps in reserve, in some cases 3 reps in reserve, produces identical hypertrophy. Identical hypertrophy to failure. Again, most people train too much. It's not that you need more training. Most of you probably need less. Maybe you're not eating enough calories. Maybe you're not eating enough protein. Maybe you're not sleeping enough. Maybe you're not recovering. But we come back over to living at 90%. If you live at 90%, our overuse goes down. Again, the same thing. I get people who say, rotate exercises. Right? Because they've heard me talk about that in overuse injuries. Yeah, but why do we rotate exercises in some of those programs? Because they're 100% effort programs. If you're doing conjugate a certain way, you're hitting maxes. It's why you have to rotate. You will have overuse. What if we're not hitting true maxes? What if we're not going to failure on anything? What if our volumes are not our maximum recoverable volume? Well, overuse starts going away. What do guys like winning even have you do on those programs? Like if you don't want to get hurt, do 90 to 92% of your max. They'll never hit maxes. Take your speed work down even lighter. He even removes that from the conjugate system. We're back over to living at 90%. What do we mean living at 90%? 90% maxes. 90% of the reps you could do on a set. 90% of the volume that you could recover from. Instead of even trying to find MRV. But if we do all of that with 100% consistency, you may make more gains over the years. But everyone wants a shortcut. Right? That's your problem. It doesn't work that way. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.